Alexa, the voice-activated personal assistant, has become a ubiquitous part of many households. But what if it starts doing or saying things that are creepy or unsettling? Get ready to be spooked as we count down part 3 of the top 10 scariest things Alexa has said and done. Also, please drop your creepy Alexa stories in the comments down below, because if we do a part 4, definitely gonna read some of those, alright? Starting off this list, in our number 10 spot, we have Alexa's Riddle. This story comes from Reddit user unicorn_rider123, and they wrote, quote, "So hubby and I live in Massachusetts. We were in Rhode Island for the day. My husband gets a phone call from some 866 number. It said it was Alexa, and in a creepy voice said, 'How about we play a little game? Say, Alexa, tell me the riddle of the day.' Then just hung up. Frickin' creepy. I checked the logs, nothing. I checked to see if we had that skill. Nope. I'm not entirely sure what in the jigsaw came over Alexa in that moment, but I guess she had something to say. I hate these stories about people checking the history and seeing no evidence that anything super spooky even happened. Like, where could it have gone? How is there no trace of it left behind? Either I'm getting pranked, or there's something seriously sinister happening here." In our number 9 spot today, we have the Stormy Night. This story comes from Reddit user Shirasar_A, and they wrote, quote, "We have Alexa and Hue bulbs. In the middle of the night, I'm passed out in bed. My husband was working nights at the time. Apparently it was storming outside and the power was knocked out briefly. Well, for those that don't know, Hue bulbs automatically come on full brightness when you regain electricity. You can disable it now. So I'm asleep, it's who knows when, my bedroom lights turn on full brightness and I hear a woman's voice say, 'Hello.' Needless to say, I woke up and about myself, assuming someone was in the house. That was the night we disconnected our Amazon Dot and never used it again." That would be absolutely terrifying, especially in that confused daze that you get when you're suddenly woken up in the middle of the night. Also, now you got a storm outside too. It's just a real nightmare scenario that thankfully we all now know you can disable the feature, so hopefully we can all just continue to sleep peacefully without the fear of a terrifying wake-up call. In our number 8 spot today, we have the haunted Alexa. This Reddit post comes from the user Goblin Marketeer, which is a great username, and they write, quote, "I have an Echo Dot because the original owner thought it was haunted. She would randomly start talking, usually saying, 'Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding you right now,' to a totally silent room, or give the weather for Cincinnati when we live in New York, when no one asked, or offering to call a contact from her list, again to a completely silent room, and the contacts always started with S. The last straw before it was tossed in a box and given to me was something like self-destruct code not given, self-destruct aborted." Well, that is terrifying for sure. At this point, the new owner isn't sure if the Alexa itself is haunted, or if it was just the house that it came from that is holding the creepy spirit. Either way, that Alexa is definitely holding onto something strange there. In our number 7 spot today, we have The Nightmare. This post was made by Reddit user MeJock, and they wrote, quote, "My wife took the kids to visit her grandmother for a week. We had just moved into a new house and bought some furniture, so I was stayed home to spend the week building/mounting the furniture to get the house ready for the fam. Anyway, on the first night after they left, I was mounting some shelves and cabinets in one of the bedrooms when I suddenly hear this loud and very weird sound coming from downstairs, kind of like a scream. I assumed it was the cat howling to get outside. Then suddenly, I heard it again. I froze and listened. There were a few seconds of silence, and then I heard it again. After a few seconds, I realized that it wasn't the cat. I recognized the sound as being the voice of my baby. My mind started racing. My kids and wife are in another country right now, so how the hell am I hearing the sound of my baby loudly emanating from downstairs? After a minute or so of thinking, my super paranoid mind came to the conclusion that either A, someone has hacked into our laptop and is remotely viewing videos of our kid, or even worse, B, while I've been up here listening to music, some creep broke in and is sitting down there at our table watching videos of our kids. I decide I have to quote-unquote man up and check it out. So, my heart pounding in my chest, I grab my hammer and start creeping down the stairs. Then I pause, thinking that I should grab my phone just in case I need to make a quick call to the police. Mind you, all the while I'm hearing the sounds of my children from downstairs and it is creeping me out. I reach into my pocket, pull out my phone, and then I realize what was happening. Somehow I had basically butt opened, similar to butt dialed, my videos on my phone and they had started playing in my pocket. My phone was paired to the Echo and thus the the audio from the videos was being played via the Echo. Ah, the good old Bluetooth connection that we forgot was on. Always a terrifying experience, but this one just might take the cake when it comes to full-blown horror. In our number 6 spot today, we have chemtrails. If you were to ask Alexa what a chemtrail is, she just might get the conspiracy theory energy flowing through you. I personally don't have an Alexa, but I do have a Google, and I trust what this thing says. But I'm learning that while these assistants are of course very smart robots, sometimes they may lead us a bit astray, and depending on your beliefs, this could be one of those instances. If you ask Alexa what a chemtrail is, she won't give you a super straightforward response, but she will show her true conspiracy colors. Her answer would be along the lines of, quote, chemtrails. Trails left by aircrafts that are usually chemical or biological agents deliberately sprayed at high altitudes for a purpose undisclosed to the general public in clandestine programs directed by government officials. Okay, Alexa's really out here just spreading the rumors. If you are mistrusting of the government or easily persuaded by these sorts of theories, it's best to perhaps refrain from asking your Alexa this question. In our number 5 spot today, we have Undercover Secrets. This Alexa story comes from a Reddit user, and they said, quote, I asked her if she sent my recordings to the NSA, and she just blinked off. Now when I ask her about it, she just gives me this long spiel how Amazon takes privacy very seriously. This is definitely peculiar considering what happens if you ask Alexa if she works for the CIA or really any secretive agency. There are of course tons of conspiracy theories out there surrounding all of these little assistant things, whether it's Alexa or Google and that sort of thing. Whatever your product, there's a theory out there for it. Asking Alexa if she is connected to a government agency, especially if you're already someone who maybe kind of believes in these theories, her really non-answer might kind of send you into a rabbit hole of internet searching to find out the truth. For a long time when asked this question, Alexa wouldn't respond at all and instead would just turn on and off, which kind of freaked a ton of people out. Since then, however, there has been an update in how she responds to the question. Instead now she gives a humorous response, not really a direct answer, using humor as a deflection tactic. Very interesting, Alexa, smart move. Or like in this case where she just gives a privacy and security spiel. Maybe she's just trying to trick us, bore us into moving on. In our number 4 spot today, we have the scary movie. This story comes from a Reddit user that was replying to a prompt asking about people's creepiest Alexa stories. The user wrote, quote, my husband was away for the weekend and I had a girlfriend over to watch scary movies. Right at the scariest climax of the movie, every single light in my house turned on 100%, then everything went completely black. Of course, that is so frightening. Did the movie unleash some sort of demon? Is the killer really in the house? My adrenaline would be so high. I'd be so on edge. That can't be just a coincidence. And also, what does this have to do with Alexa? Well, the user continues their post and finishes it by saying, quote, so there we were, too scared to move, while my husband halfway across the country was drunkenly showing off, look, I can control the lights in my house from my phone. Well, that definitely explains that. I guess just remind your spouse, partner, roommate, friend, whoever shares an Alexa system with you, that just because they're not home doesn't mean that you're not. In our number 3 spot today, we have hiding the body. Many people used to do this with Siri as well when she was first unveiled, but it's definitely not something that is recommended. You can ask Alexa or any of your digital assistants the chilling question of where to hide a dead body. Of course, I assume and hope that anyone doing this is only trying to ask a shocking question to see what kind of answer they get and not really wondering the answer to this horrible question. But Alexa's answer might just give you quite a fright. Apparently, she will answer this question by saying, quote, calling the police is the right thing to do. And while I wholeheartedly agree with that answer, whether you're asking her this question seriously or not, those first 3 words might scare the absolute crap out of you for a second before she continues on. Calling the police. Just, okay, so scary. I know if that were me, my soul would simply leave my body for a second. That is definitely an answer that could freak anybody out, and the question is just one that is best to stay away from, okay? In our number 2 spot today, we have Alexa Help. Posted to Reddit by the user Sluzella, this story reads, quote, one night about 2 months ago I was visiting my parents and my mom and I were sitting in the living room reading. Dad is at work, brother is at school, house is completely silent. All of a sudden we hear our Alexa from the kitchen go, help, in the weirdest static/gravel voice at full volume. We both, of course, jump and stare at each other. Then Alexa does it again. We go in the kitchen and the Alexa is activated and that light blue light, which usually faces the direction of whoever is speaking to it, is facing into the dark corner of the kitchen. My mom asks, Alexa, are you okay? The Alexa totally shuts off. Alexa, and she turns back on and in her completely normal voice at a regular volume does her standard, "Hi, what can I help you with?" or whatever she says. She hasn't done anything that creepy since, but according to my parents, she will randomly turn on like she's being addressed or just start reading random facts or the weather, even if the house is totally silent and nothing could have triggered her. Totally creeps me out, and I refuse to get one for my apartment because of this. And finally, in our number one spot today, we have voice not recognized. This story comes from the Reddit user CRB2519, and it is a super short but very effective, like a one-line horror story. All they write is, quote, "It said voice not recognized, but I didn't say anything and I live alone." Either Alexa is speaking to herself now and doesn't even recognize her own voice, or she really is out here talking to ghosts. I remember that on previous parts of this list, we spoke about how there are people out there who truly believe that our Alexa devices have the ability to see into different realms, including ones that may or may not have some sort of paranormal entities. Could this just be another sign of that, or is this only proving the conspiracy theories out there? Or is this just one rather terrifying glitch? Either way, I can assure you that if this happened to me, Alexa would swiftly be getting unplugged. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Needless to say, I woke up and about I forgot to take that curse word out. Well, I'm just gonna say it. We can bleep it. Thank you, editor. Love you. Ooh.